everybody. Hi, it's Alisa Murray's Martini Talks. I'm hanging out today with one of my dear friends, Dana Taylor. She's all the way across the pond in the UK. Hey there, sweet girl. How are you?
I'm very, very well. Thank you, lovely lady. How are you today?
I'm doing great. It's so nice to have you on the show.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be on Martini Talks.
Martini Talks. I know, I know. So tell everybody what you're doing. I just love everything that you've got going on. So give us the download on everything that's Dana Taylor.
I will do. I will do. So, whilst it's Dana Taylor, I have a company called Blossoming Season. And the reason why I call it Blossoming Season is because I believe that we all have a new season, you know? We have, you call it the fall, don't you? Fall, winter, summer, spring, and everything that we go through in life, it's just building us up to the next season. So, what are we doing? How are we blossoming? How are we growing? And that's why I developed all the courses that I do, which are the transformation courses that reprogram your subconscious mind. Where all those bad habits kick in, where all that negative thinking or self-doubt kicks in, we're kicking them into touch. So we do like self-love mastery programs, which really get you to be like into understanding your own love, your boundaries, how you feel, how you nourish yourself. And then we move into cushions of intimacy. That one is a one that's very close to my heart, because cushions of intimacy, it's really about that intimate warmness that you have with yourself, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, creatively. And it really just brings you into a place of peace and of wholeness, and really understanding who you are as a person, and the wider, the wider collective consciousness, your friends, your family, how you interact with your neighbors. That's what it's about. But the main one that we do is the Good Morning Transformation course, which is a span of 66 days of taking you through self-love, self-discipline, self-confidence, self-actualization, and most importantly, understanding your self-emotional intelligence. And intimacy is embedded in that as well. And that's just going through that. It's a hybrid course with myself. So it's for all those who really want to do that deep work. You want to come in and you want to break free and feel good and be an amazing version of yourself. So it's hybrid. So essentially you have an exercise every single day. You have a meditation and a prayer every day that you do. And then you get to speak to me every day for 66 days. So I get to, even if you feel like you're going to, some people might feel like, I can't do the work. They don't want to do it by themselves. There's no one to catch me when I fall. That kind of feeling that comes up. It's like, no, self-doubt. I am here to hold your hand all the way through. So you have your own metamorphosis. So you have your blossoming season, so that you have your butterfly moment. You fly up and do whatever it is that you do best.
That's just
so yeah.
I love it.
Thank you.
Dana and I, for the viewers that are watching and the people that'll be listening to the podcast, Dana and I met on the Clubhouse, and we were in a room and we were talking, and I was sharing about the living the sweet life, and there was such a cross current of the similar vibe and the similar need to share and help people be the best they can be. I mean, it's just everything that you're doing is so aligned with everything that I'm about too. And so it's a perfect fit for us to be together and to share and help each other grow our businesses, because we are truly helping people live their best life and find their blossoming season. And it is so, I mean, it could not be any more perfectly married, me and you.
It's so true.
It really is absolutely the truth. And so, many of my viewers, like the past, year, we've all been living through this crazy pandemic, and I was running like 5 miles an hour, 10 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour, 100 miles an hour, in my own seasons, right, with my other businesses. And then when this thing happened, I really got a chance to sit still and stop running. And when I did that, is when God revealed to me, this is the next thing. This is the season. This is the last 50 years. This thing that I've done now and doing with you and sharing with y'all and just cooking and gardening and doing all these things, and then showing people how to become entrepreneurs and find themselves and their passion. That is really the gift that's the last gift to the world for me. You know, I'm duplicating the opportunity by sharing myself and my image so that I live past this vessel. Like I'll be around forever like a movie star, because all the people that love me and know me will be able to watch me after I'm gone. So that feels a need for me to have done that, because, you know, all these years I've been behind the camera creating beautiful images of babies and families and giving those gifts. And this gift is a gift of myself to share with the world my spirit, my soul, and my need to help others. And I just love you. I love everything about you. I love everything about what you're doing. I'm just amazed. I'm so grateful that we've become friends, because, you know, I believe God puts everybody in your life for a reason. And Lord knows there's a gazillion people in Clubhouse. And you and I found each other, and we're supposed to be together. And so I just love that. I love that a lot.
Do you know what? I love you too. And this is so true. And, you know, I really wanted to touch on this because, especially when you mentioned it, and I remember when I was going through the deep, dark hours of my life, and every time I've just kind of like bounced back. And then there's that point where I was really, really struggling and really having to dig deep. And that's when I really got close. That's when my spiritual intimacy kicked in. And I realized that it was, you know, I had to look to God. There was no more of me leaning just on my own understanding. I needed that extra help. And then I remember having this whole vision of like being on the floor and then getting back up. And I was like, wow, this really is what you call your blossoming season, when you can just, you're no longer feeling like you're in deficiency of love, but you are sharing your love. You're sharing all the love that's in you to get people to the other side, you know. And I've been an entrepreneur since I was, I'd say, about 19, and I'm 34 now. So I went to uni, but I was still selling stuff, still selling vintage clothing, still have a market store. Then I was doing all the confidence building workshops. I had all those across the schools in the UK for children. And that's something I'm doing actually at the moment. I'm doing the programs online and working with a few special younger children at the moment to really rebuild their confidence, especially due to the pandemic. Like you said, imagine we've had to sit still with ourselves and we're like, what's going on?
Right.
Imagine children, like teenagers.
Yeah. And, you know, I talked about this. I haven't talked about this on the show, but I talked about this with another mom and also with my husband, of course, and Uncle B. And it's like the children right now that are graduating, and James Edward is graduating in May, you know, the children right now, their experience of what that looks like, feels like, and will be like, this is a marker for the rest of their lives. I mean, like, this will be something that they'll sit on the back porch on a rocking chair and tell their great grandchildren, hey, when I turned 19, 18, the world was shut down and we didn't walk and have a graduation, because then people were wearing masks and people were dying. And there's a lot of stuff that we've all had to do. And when I was in the garden last year, you know, Nana was 102 when she passed. And she was born in 1902. So she lived through all this crazy stuff. Like, she lived through the Spanish flu. She was around before the airplane. She was around before the car. She was around before, you know, they had the guy that would show up and bring you an ice cube and put it in a little box, and that was the refrigerator. You know, like, that's who raised me, like somebody who was from that era. And why I'm so old fashioned, I'm sure, because she's the one who influenced me directly. Both my grandmothers and my grandfather did, but Nana was with us. Like, she moved in before I was born, and I never had a day without my Nana. And I often wondered when I was in the garden last year and I was talking to her, I was like, you know, show me how to do this. Like, I've always grown this thing, but I don't know how to do it on a massive scale, because I don't want to go to the grocery store. I want to stay home and go out in my backyard and be able to pull enough tomatoes, cucumbers, whatever we need to just come right back into the house, because I know that it's not got any pesticides on it. No one has touched it at the store that might have COVID Like it just went to a whole nother level of survival and talking to her. And I just felt the whispers and the calmness of everything's going to be okay. Just stay in the garden and keep growing. And then when I get to the kitchen and I was working on, boiling tomatoes and having the peel off of, peel the tomatoes, getting ready to prepare them for canning, I could hear her say, that needs to stay in for 5 more minutes. Or like, it was just little like nudges that everything was going to be okay. Just keep doing what you're doing. Just don't worry. Everything's going to be okay. And I mean, I really would have loved to have had an opportunity to beam her back down from heaven and have her just sit in a hologram and ask her all of what happened during the Spanish flu, because she lived through it, right? So she would have been able to reflect back to me, this is what it was like. And it's similar to what we're doing now. It'll pass, it'll go away. They just have to figure it out because it's so confusing with what you should do, could do, might not need to do. And so the easiest thing to do is to just sit still and stay at home, right? Because if you can grow your own food and you can work from home, that's the safe place to be. And so anyway, but yeah, it was a lot for me because, sister, I'm used to shooting babies and pregnant naked women. And I'm used to having people in my studio all the time, all the things, and hug and kiss them and love on them and all the things. And when all of that was just shut down, I had to just figure it out. And it was definitely God and my people in my family that have died that really gave me the strength. I remember, I'll tell you this story. The viewers will probably freak out about it, but I'll tell you anyway. Right around the time that the COVID started, right? Just about the beginning of it. And people were starting to kind of figure out that they were all going into a dark season, right? They were going to be in the fall and the winter for a little bit, maybe for longer than they wanted to be, which is why your whole thing is the same. It's like everybody's got to have that season. And people, many of them were probably already in that dark season before it even happened because they were miserable in their jobs, miserable with their lives, miserable with their spouses, needed to work on their relationships with their children, with their people, with their tribe. Who knows? I mean, we all have work to do in every area all the time. Truthfully, if you don't work, I mean, I've been married for 30 years. If I didn't work on my marriage, your marriage won't work for you. I mean, everything you do is as much as you put into it, which is the most important lessons to learn. And you know that with coaching and helping people too. But anyway, it was interesting to me how so many people were like lost. And they had been lost before, but they really figured out that they were lost. And for me, I wasn't lost. I was feeling a loss of the way that I communicate with the world, which is through people. And I was trying to figure out how do I keep making people happy? How do I keep showing people how to do all the things, right? And because the babies will come and they'll be photographed, and then they go to the garden with me and take home a little basket full of vegetables. If they're not coming to see me, well, gosh knows. But it's like, let me show you on a video, right? Because that's safe. I can mic up and be videotaping. And so that's how the YouTube channel happened. It was like, what can I do to still be able to communicate so that the things that I do and the people that are watching me and love me and are used to seeing me are able to still feel like they've communicated with me. You know what I mean? It's one of those things. And because I mean, literally, sister, every year for 18 years in the spring, I would stuff 400 eggs and do a big egg hunt for all of my babies. They would get pictures here for free, bluebonnets. In the fall, I did all the pumpkins for free, pictures with their costumes with Auntie Aggie. All of that had to end. All of the things that I had created of a community of sharing as Auntie A, all just grinded down to a stop. And my need to be able to give back and share. The platform of YouTube has been amazing. I mean, like, I have to tell you, I mean, it's one of the best things I've ever done. And it's great because I'm not scared, right? That's what stops so many of the people. It's like, oh my God, I can't mic up and push record. It has to be perfect. And I'm like, no, done is better than perfect. I could say to you, well, you know what, Dana, you're over there in the UK and I'm over here in Houston, and we can't see each other and sit on this couch. So we can't do one. Well, that's just not going to happen. We'll make a way. Be like water, make a way. Don't swim against it, swim with it, and make it be like the water and make a way. And so that's the way that I've lived my life. And gosh knows, I know it's the way that you've lived yours. And your stuff is transformational. It is absolutely going to change the lives of other people, those people that are watching everything, all the details on how to get all the stuff, all the things, all of how to get in touch with you, because you can Zoom just like you're Zooming with me with somebody over here across the pond. That's not stopping you from helping them transform into the butterflies that they need to become. And so I'm going to make sure that you guys have got that in the episode notes. So just be sure you click down there so that you've got all the contact information. But I'm just so proud of you. I'm just so happy that God put you in my life, because it is absolutely amazing to me this past year how many people I did not know at all, and people who have come to me and we've become dear friends. And we can, it's not even like, oh, it takes a minute or two to figure it out. It's like we hit it off, like we've been knowing each other our whole entire lives. And it's that kind of feeling that I've had with a handful of people that I know God has put in my life. So that just guides me more to keep pushing forward, that this is the next thing. This is my calling. And it's like you're called to serve. You know, that's the bottom line. It's not even about money. It's about serving and sharing and helping people become better. And there's rewards for that too, for sure. But you know what I mean? The rewards are actually not something that you can touch. It's like whenever I take, like whenever people call me, say, get me your grandmother. And they were like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I need to photograph the grandmother. And then the grandmother would come see me and everybody would be like, whatever. And then the grandmother would pass and they would call and go, oh my God, thank you for doing that for me, because we have pictures. We wouldn't have had these pictures if it wasn't for you pushing for us to bring her to you. And I'm like, I mean, that comes from Mama getting killed when I was little and just knowing that photography is all you have left when people are gone. But the reality is that was a gift. And now this is the gift that we're now doing, which is sharing with the world ways for people to figure out who they're supposed to be. And that's just amazing.
You know, it's just a beautiful thing. It's such a wonderful thing. I had a client message me not long ago and she said, Dana, I'm decluttering my whole life. I was like, really? She's like, yeah, I feel so transformed. I'm like packing everything up. It's a whole new season. She got herself a storage unit. She was messaging me like doing these quick WhatsApp saying, oh, how much do you think a storage unit will cost? I'm like, what? And then all of a sudden today, she's like, I don't mind. She calls her that time of the month, her flowering time, Prudence. She's like, Prudence is here, Dana, but I'm going to keep doing it anyway. And I was like, you know what? I'm so proud of you, because there was a time she said she couldn't even really see herself getting out of bed, or even, she was in the shadow of herself. She's just like, I didn't even want to go on. And now she's like, oh, I might move to Canada. I'm like, what? She's like, I'm changing my, I've excelled in my career, but I might change career. She's done a whole like branding course. I'm like, what? Who is this person? And like you said, it's the things that I can't touch, because it makes me so happy, because I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm like, really, you're doing this? She's like, yeah, I'm gonna call you. And and she wants to be part of blossoming season as well. She's like, I want people to know more. How can I help you? Can I write blogs for you? Can I design some things and schedule things? Can I make things like a bit easier so more people can experience what I've experienced? And she's a trooper. She's like straight to her HR managers, like, we need this. She's like, my team's gonna go on this, and she's had her team members coming on. So I'm just like, she's like, I want, and she's like, it's lovely when she messaged me and she'll say, oh, I played like a meditation today, or I wrote a positive quote today and I said it in front of the team and they're really enlightened and happy. And so you just realize it's not just the one person you're touching, it's so many other people. And I think
like putting a drop in the water of positivity and it just ripples through the world, universe.
It
You should
really
be
does.
so proud. You should be so proud. I'm so proud of you. I really am.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you
I
so
hope
much.
that
I
a
mean,
year from now, I'll be able, I know that you and I, we were talking about me writing my courses. I hope that a year from now, you and I can come together. We'll come together before that, obviously, but
yeah.
what would have been Mother's 74th birthday is
Oh,
May the 13th. And that was the day I launched my YouTube channel. So, and then on Daddy's birthday and death day is May the 29th. And that was the first day of the Martini Talks. And I did it in May. I did it on those dates for a specific reason, because I wanted to really be able to not only remember it, obviously, when I'm like old and can't remember anything from too much martini talking. But I also did it because I feel like it is a gift to them. It's a gift to each of my parents who left very quickly, both situations. Mother with a train getting in an accident, and Daddy on his birthday just dropping dead in the garage, and no chance to say goodbye. And so this is a love letter. This is a love letter to my parents, to give them all the things that I've learned and to share with what is their generations. I mean, they're the ones that made me, and the kids that I've made, I'll share it with my grandkids and their kids, their kids. So it's really cool. It's really special. And it's got a lifelong legacy, both of us do, with what we can do to share with the world. I mean, it's, the people's lives that we touch, we have no way of knowing just how much. I mean, that in some cases, it brings them out of suicide. It puts them in a place that they never would have been, just for having met us and known us and experienced the positivity that we can share and show them how to live their life. So it's a big deal. It's a huge deal. It's like a God thing. It's a big God calling thing. I'm not
really
saying we're going to start the church together or anything, but you know what I mean? I mean,
I know,
it's
but
like,
it is major. It really is. And yeah, and the thing is, you know what? It was on my spirit. I'd even say, like, when I had the first business and I was going to schools and I was doing it for the children, like when I was 23, 24, 25, and I was just, even more so then I wanted to do it, but I was thinking, oh no, my age. I was thinking, no, maybe I shouldn't, or maybe I should hold back a bit more, and all these kind of things. And I've just made sure people realize to move out of those like inhibitions, all that fear. Like, age is just simply a number. It is a blessing to wake up every single day and to just plant the seed of positivity for somebody else. And I remember getting messages where people say, I wake up in the morning just to hear your voice, or I something triggered in the middle of work and it just stopped me from, you know, from losing my job or changing. It's just unbelievable. And I get people say, I can never repay you. And I'm like, I don't need payment. Like, the fact that you are happy is the best thing that could possibly happen. Best ever.
there was an old lady in Sugarland that had been reading my column, Living the Sweet Life, which obviously, for those of you who are listening and don't know me, the whole Living the Sweet Life channel has come from all of a collective of the columns I've written over the past 17 years in Houston area. And the Living the Sweet Life column has been about either promoting a business occasionally, like, which is what Martini Talks has turned into, or sharing my views about the world or some experience that I've had. And you don't know who you're touching, right? When you're writing, you don't know who you're touching. And so when I would go to church, the little old ladies in church would come up to me and pat my hand and give me a hug and say, oh, I read the column and I just loved it. And it might have been about the cat or the dog, or it might have been about the children or Brian or a client or a mom with cancer or a kid with cancer, whatever was on my mind and on my heart. But there was an old lady and she called me and she said, she had collected them and had taken them with her to MD Anderson and would read them over and over and over again as she was getting chemo. And I had touched her heart and kept her from spiraling downward because she had really resonated with my words. And that is one of the reasons why, too, I went to the channel. It's way easier to write and not have to get cute and mic up. And even if you're not feeling the best day, having to just be on the camera. But you don't know who you're going to touch, and you don't know how they're going to feel after they've been touched by you. And it's so important to just keep putting that positive energy, keep give of yourself, it's a calling. You and I've got it. And I'm just so excited about the future. I mean, like, I am happier today than I have ever been in my entire life. I mean, I'm happy about being married to B, and I've been happily married for a long time, and I love my children and all of that. I'm not saying it's like, I'm not talking about it in terms of a season. I'm talking about in terms of what I physically do every day. I feel like what I'm doing has the most purpose that it's ever had before. Like, it's not working to make a photo, or not working to write a column, or not working to book a vacation or sell a home. No, this is God's work, and it's never done. And it's just, it's really cool. It's just really cool. Father Andrew said something about showing people Jesus, because you're living your life like Jesus would, and showing and sharing and loving and caring and being around people that reflects to them what it's like to be experiencing the love of Jesus. And not to get all deep spiritually, although I am spiritually deep, and so are you. I don't need to get into a sermon. I'm not going to get into a sermon. I'm not going to preach, but I'm just going to say that's what it is. And when you get down to the heart of it, when both of us are gone, and there's somebody standing up there talking about us and what we've done and given, that's what they're going to say, is that we've really touched and shared and given everything that we could to help each other and help people that we knew, and the people that crossed our path. And that's everything. If it's not making $10 million, who cares? You can't take a dime of it with you when you're gone.
No.
You touched people's lives and kept them from going into depression, or shared with them a way for them to blossom in their own seasons like you do. Man, it's priceless, babe. It's priceless.
Do you know what? I just feel like it's a big calling on my heart, and sometimes it's just, there's so much I want to give. There's so much I want to do for people, and from people from all walks of life. Everybody deserves that chance to love deeper, be happier, and just feel good about who they are. That's a big thing. Some people just, they're struggling to get through the day, or they're good, or they can't sustain their happiness, or they are overwhelmed. They're busy moms, they don't have the time. I had a cousin of mine reach out to me. Well, she didn't essentially reach out so much. I saw her change a picture on something, and I was like, and I just said, it's really nice, I love that, thank you for posting that. And she said something, and I just asked if she's okay, and she just showed me. She's like, I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm a mother of two. I haven't even had enough time for myself. It's a long day. It's a long process. And it's hard being in this pandemic with the children, and I'm just not feeling myself. And even though I want to do the work on myself, I just still don't feel like I've got the time to do it anyway. So now she's feeling like she's a failed mom. So, it's just, when you get to uplift others around you as well. And by the time we'd finished speaking, she was just like, oh my gosh, I feel so much better about myself. And I was like, giving her practical tools, practical things. Look at your day. How is your day working at the moment? How can you find that time? Can you send the boys to bed earlier than what you're doing? Because they're going to bed at 9, but you need your time to get them into bed for 7. Get them into bed at 6:30 if you need to. Even if it's 3 times a week they're in at 6:30, you've got that time for yourself. You've got to get that in for yourself. And she's just like, I wasn't even thinking about that. It just was just getting a little bit chaotic, or then when she has done it, she's busy trying to do the washing and the cooking and the cleaning and everything else. And I said, sometimes you've just got to let things sit still and have a nice soak in the bath, or write a nice book, or do some prayers, or do some journaling, or listen to your favorite music, or have a dance. Do something that's alternative. And that's what I make sure in the course, especially the Good Morning Transformation course. In fact, all of them, there's a mixture of different types of exercises, so it gets you into understanding the benefits of art therapy or dance therapy, or understanding the powers of like prayers and meditating on the word. And it's just so empowering to see when you can let people tap into themselves in a different way. That's the key. Sometimes we don't, I always say, you we have these blind spots, and we always then tend to kind of respond based on smoke screens of what we think of other people, what we think of ourselves. And we just need to take a step back and just to see it as a plain canvas. And this is why I say, when you're going for these courses of self-love and self-confidence courses, it's with me, you've just got to come with an open mind and just know that you can start again. And that's the fear for a lot of people, to start again. They feel like, no, I know who I am. This is who I am. And they've been put loads of labels on by others around them all their life. And they're just kind of feeling trapped. And you don't have to be that. You
No.
can be whoever you want to be, And that's what's important for me. I feel that, having a deeper love connection is probably the most positive thing that you can have. And I was watching something today, actually, and I just happened to put on Netflix. I had a bit of a headache. I thought, oh, I'm going to just listen as if it's audio. And it was about a woman who was a killer. And I was like, oh, this is a bit dark. I was like, what's going on? And then I found that it was she'd killed this guy, but then the parents were forgiving of her, and they've built a relationship with the woman that took away their son's life. And I thought, look at the power of forgiveness. And I always talk about this in the courses, but the true power of forgiveness, because you're saying, God has forgiven us for our sins, and we need to learn how to forgive. And I was like, where does that level of forgiveness come from when someone's taken away your child? I'm not even a mother, and I can imagine that's something like that must be so hard. But imagine that we don't even know how to forgive ourselves.
There you go.
And the more,
I was waiting for you to say that, because it's not just about the parents. It's about her forgiving herself.
Yeah, and forgiving yourself of doing certain things. Even the smallest thing is so powerful, and to just let it go. I feel that sometimes, as many people, what we don't realize in our subconscious mind, we have the power of nagging or overthinking or criticizing, and we're projecting our own insecurities. And the thing is it's not about just putting the plasters on these wounds. You need to clean the wound, you need to heal, you need to do the work. And it's okay to cry, it's okay to laugh, it's okay to feel embarrassed or ashamed or feared or jealousy or anger or all these emotions are a human experience, as long as you then learn the art of forgiving yourself. When you can forgive yourself, you can like yourself, and you can love yourself and be more confident in who you are,
Yeah, and not only that, but then you're able, because you filled your cup back up, to give gifts to the world too. So there's a lot of circular, seasonal, love you, girl. It's all there.
Yeah, love you too.
All there. It's all
and
there.
they're giving that sweet talk, because then it's no longer poison ivy that's coming out your mouth. It is sweet talk.
That's right.
It really is.
It really
Speaking
is.
beautifully, they're really giving that love. And I definitely feel like we should do a course together. I feel like it'd be amazing. I do feel we should do a course together. I think it'd be wonderful.
I'm in. I'm all in.
Okay. I'm there.
I'm all in. I'm all in. Listen, on that note, guys, my goodness, we've worked through something right here for you guys, right in front of you guys. We're getting ready to do a course together. That's going to be a lot of fun for everybody involved. Yeah. So if you guys have found any value, please do me a favor, like and share. Don't forget to ring that bell so that you're notified when we drop another episode each week on Fridays for the Martini Talks. And we'll see you soon. Take care.